In the dead of night, from the bottom of a lonely well, a voice begins to count. 1, 2, 3. It counts all the way to 9, and then a blood-curdling shriek shatters the silence. That's the sound of betrayal, death, and a spirit that refuses to rest. This is the story of Okiku, and it's a tale that just might keep you up all night, or her ghost will. Now, this isn't just any old ghost story. This is Banchō Sarayashiki, the dish mansion at Banchō, one of Japan's most famous and lasting ghost tales, or kaiden. Okiku's story is so legendary, it's considered one of Japan's big 3 ghost stories, right alongside the tales of Oiwa and Otsuyu. It's a story that's been told and retold for centuries, starting in Japan's Edo period and finding new life in everything from puppet theater to kabuki plays. But what makes this story so genuinely chilling is that it's tied to real places you can visit today, in a castle that still stands as a monument to both breathtaking beauty and unspeakable cruelty. Our story takes us to Himeji Castle, a stunning fortress in Japan that's nicknamed the White Heron Castle for its elegant white walls. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a masterpiece of architecture. But hidden beneath all that beauty is a dark secret, centered around a single stone-lined well. This is Okiku's Well, and it's here that our story of betrayal, injustice, and supernatural revenge begins. Inside the sprawling Himeji Castle, there lived a servant girl named Okiku. Her name, which means chrysanthemum, felt at odds with the simple, difficult life she led. In the rigid social structure of Edo period Japan, Okiku was the picture of loyalty and diligence. The details change depending on who's telling the story. Sometimes she's an orphan, other times her family has fallen on hard times, or she's even a spy trying to uncover a plot against the castle's lord. But in every version, her job is the same. She's a dishwashing servant trusted with a task of enormous responsibility. Her master, a powerful samurai, owned a set of 10 incredibly valuable plates. These weren't your average dishes. Some legends say they were precious heirlooms from a Dutch visitor. Others claim they were priceless ceramics meant as a political gift to the shogun. Either way, losing or breaking even one of them was a crime punishable by death. Okiku understood the weight of this duty. Every day she handled the plates with extreme care, her whole world revolving around keeping them safe. This duty was her life, and her loyalty was proven by the perfect condition of those 10 treasures. She found a quiet pride in her work, a sense of order in knowing she was doing her job flawlessly. The plates were always there, 1 through 10. Always, until one day, they weren't. Okiku's quiet beauty and hard work didn't go unnoticed. She caught the eye of her master, a high-ranking samurai retainer named Aoyama. In some tellings, his name is Tetsuzan, but his character is always the same. A powerful man used to getting exactly what he wanted. And what he wanted was Okiku. Again and again, Aoyama tried to seduce her and make her his lover. And again, Okiku refused him. She wasn't trying to be disrespectful. She had a quiet dignity, and in some versions of the story, was already in love with another man. But Aoyama didn't take no for an answer. Her rejection didn't cool his desire. It twisted it into rage. His obsession curdled into a dark and cruel plan. If he couldn't have her willingly, he would force her. This is where the story spirals into a nightmare. Aoyama came up with a plan so simple, yet so devastating, it would trap Okiku in an impossible choice. He decided to use the very things she was sworn to protect, the 10 precious plates, as a weapon against her. This wasn't just about seduction anymore. This was about breaking her spirit, forcing her to submit under the threat of death. He would trick her into becoming his, or he would destroy her. One day, Aoyama snuck into the storeroom where the 10 plates were kept. He carefully took one and hid it. Later, he summoned Okiku, his voice cold and demanding, and ordered her to bring him the set of 10 plates. A wave of dread washed over Okiku. She went to the box and began to count, her fingers trembling as she touched each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Her heart stopped. She counted again and again. Panic set in as she kept landing on the same number. 9. There were only 9. The 10th plate was gone. She searched everywhere, her mind racing. It just couldn't be. She was always so careful. Terrified, she went back to her master, confessed that a plate was missing, and begged for his forgiveness, knowing her life was on the line. This was the moment Aoyama was waiting for. He looked at her like a predator pretending to feel sorry for his prey. He told her he could overlook her mistake. He'd lie for her and save her life. But his mercy had a price. All she had to do was finally agree to be his mistress. Okiku was trapped. Her life on one side, her dignity on the other. For a moment, she must have considered it. The will to live is strong. But even facing death, she looked at the man who had orchestrated her torment, the man who wanted to own her, and she refused. That final no snapped Aoyama's last bit of patience. The fake kindness vanished, replaced by pure rage. The consequences were immediate and brutal. He ordered his men to beat Okiku with a bokken, a wooden training sword designed to break bones without drawing much blood. They beat her until she couldn't stand. But even that wasn't enough. The most visceral versions of the story say he then had her tied up and suspended over the castle well. He tortured her, repeatedly lowering her into the dark water and pulling her back up, striking her over and over. He wanted to break her, to finally hear her give in. But Okiku remained defiant. Realizing he would never have her, Aoyama was consumed by fury. With one last, vicious blow, he struck her down. Her broken body tumbled into the deep, dark well. The stone walls echoed with her fall, followed by the sound of her body hitting the water below. Her life, stolen over a lie, was snuffed out in the darkness. Her body was never recovered, left to the cold of the well. But death, which should have been her escape, was only the beginning. Soon after Okiku's death, something strange and terrifying began to haunt Himeji Castle. Night after night, a ghostly voice would rise from the well where she died. At first it was a faint, sorrowful sound on the wind. It was the sound of counting. 1, 2, 3. The voice would slowly, deliberately count, each number full of sadness. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After the 9th count, a dreadful silence would hang in the air. Then, a sound of pure, soul-shattering horror would erupt from the well, a scream of anguish for the 10th plate that was never there. The scream echoed through the castle, tormenting everyone who heard it. Okiku had returned, but she wasn't the gentle servant she was in life. She had become an onryo, a vengeful spirit, common in Japanese folklore, driven by the injustice of her death to torment the living. Her nightly counting and screaming drove Aoyama and the other residents insane. It's said that anyone who heard her count all the way to 9 fell ill or died soon after. As for her tormentor, Aoyama was driven completely mad by the nightly reminder of his crime. The nightly haunting became unbearable. Desperate to end the curse, the lord of the castle summoned a Buddhist priest to perform an exorcism. In some versions, it's a friend of Okiku's or just a brave local who decides to confront the spirit. The exorcist waited by the well as night fell. As expected, Okiku's ghostly form rose from the depths, her sorrowful voice beginning its nightly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The spirit paused, gathering her breath for that final agonizing shriek. But in that split second, before she could scream, the priest shouted at the top of his lungs, 10! Okiku's ghost stopped. For the first time, her count was complete. In that moment, her obsessive loop was finally broken. The cycle of vengeance was over. Having found a piece of the justice she was denied in life, the ghost of Okiku descended back into her watery grave, never to be heard from again. Her spirit could finally rest. Even though the priest silenced her ghost, Okiku's story was far from over. It echoed through Japanese culture, immortalized in art and theater. Her tale was adapted into famous kabuki and puppet plays, and legendary artists of the Edo period, like Hokusai, depicted her as both a tragic and terrifying figure, forever linking her to the well and the plates. But Okiku's most significant legacy is in modern horror. If her story sounds familiar, a wronged woman with long, dark hair, a vengeful spirit, and a deep, dark well, it's because it helped lay the foundation for one of the scariest figures in recent cinema. The legend of Okiku is considered a key inspiration for Ringu, the 1998 Japanese horror film later remade as The Ring. The ghost of Sadako Yamamura, with her unnatural movements and terrifying crawl out of a well, is a direct spiritual descendant of Okiku. The director of Ringu, Hideo Nakata, has acknowledged the influence of classic Japanese ghost stories like Okiku's on his film. The iconic image of a female ghost in a white burial kimono with her face hidden by long black hair comes directly from traditional stage depictions of spirits like Okiku. To put it simply, Okiku walked so that Sadako could crawl. What makes Okiku's story so powerful is that it's tied to a real place. If you visit the magnificent Himeji Castle today, you can walk the very grounds where this legend unfolded. And there, on the castle grounds, you'll find a small stone well, fenced off with iron bars. This is Okiku's Well. Visitors peer through the grate, tossing coins and whispers. It's an official stop on the castle tour, a physical anchor to a centuries-old ghost story. The bars, some will tell you, are to keep people from falling in. But a more chilling thought is that maybe they're there to keep something, or someone, from getting out. Even today, some visitors report strange experiences. A faint, sad voice counting from the depths. A sudden, inexplicable chill in the air. Standing there, looking down into that dark stone opening, it's easy to let your imagination run wild. You can almost hear it. Ichi, ni, san. 1, 2, 3. The true horror of Okiku's story isn't just the ghost, it's the raw injustice that created her. It's the story of a powerless woman who was tormented and murdered for refusing to be used. Her dignity cost her everything, and even in death, her spirit was trapped in an endless loop of trauma. Okiku counts forever because she was never allowed to simply live. Her story is a chilling reminder that the most terrifying ghosts are born from the most human evils. That's all for today's journey to another one of the world's most terrifying legends. If you want to continue exploring horror across borders, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for more tales from the darkest corners of history and folklore. Hit the like and leave a comment, it helps push this video out to others. You can also share to friends. The story of Okiku has endured for centuries, not just because it's terrifying, but because it speaks to something deeper. The fear of injustice that never dies. She's a spirit who can't rest because her life was stolen and her name was ruined. So the next time you hear a strange noise in the quiet of the night, listen closely. You might hear her voice, still counting. And maybe that's what all ghosts are, echoes of people the world refused to hear. Thank you for watching, and remember that fear has no borders.